Checks are fun, checks are high!
The year was 1996. Little idiot child Civvie opens a box of corn checks to pour himself a bowl before he has to go to school so he can learn what happens to that giant chicken that was menacing Hoboken, New Jersey. I lost sleep over that book, okay? And so I pour this cereal, but something else comes out. It's a video game on a compact disc. And oh boy, it comes with 50 free hours of America Online version 3.0. You guys would not believe how the internet used to work. You used to have to use a modem that downloaded things at like 5 kilobytes a second. To get on the internet, you needed to use your
fucking telephone. Get
Now you can get a free CD-ROM game inside boxes of Chex cereals. Help Chex Man battle the Flemoids and save the planet Bazoik. 1 free and specially marked boxes of Chex cereals.
Oh my god, they were just giving me a free video game. I knew video games. We had Mario and we had Mario 3 and we had some games on the computer too. So I popped this CD-ROM into my dad's Pentium 90 and installed it and booted it up. And hey, wait a minute, this is Doom. Because I was an 8-year-old who had played Doom, I recognized this immediately. This is what Doom used to look like when you booted it up in DOS. And then I started playing it, and this game is literally a commercially licensed, Chex-branded Doom clone. The weapons work the same, the enemies work the same, you collect colored key cards to open doors, to complete levels, to find a switch to exit. The cereal company took something as pure and innocent as Doom and turned it into this corrupt corporate advertisement for... Okay, I guess Chex isn't the most insidious breakfast cereal around. Not when we have like Chips Ahoy cereal or Peeps cereal. Peep cereal. Snoop cereal. I know that's legal in a lot of states now, but Jesus. Chex Quest was originally released as one episode on a CD-ROM in 1996, and then a second episode was released online in 1997 as an add-on to the original. And that one was said to be rushed out the door according to something I read on Wikipedia that I'm thoughtlessly regurgitating into this video, but then the third episode didn't happen. It didn't happen. Coincidentally, Chex was sold by Ralston to General Mills. So guess what, motherfuckers? This video has corpo bullshit in it too. The Chex Warrior died for our sins.
Last week, a volcano exploded on planet Bazoik, launching particles of rock into space. One of these asteroids was captured by the squadron and brought to our labs.
We were investigating these blobulars as proof of cereal life on other planets when we discovered that they actually contain eggs to an evil cereal-eating creature from another dimension. We call them Flemoids.
Okay, Chex scientist, what do you suggest? Is it kill them all?
When Flemoid eggs are exposed to nutritional substances, the eggs hatch.
Preposterous! We have a nutritional development center in the caverns of Bazoik. They're growing fruit and vegetables, and they haven't had any trouble.
They haven't had any trouble growing fruits and vegetables in a fucking cave? Are you sure?
General, 2 days ago we lost contact with Bazoik. We can only assume the Flemoids have taken over.
To make matters worse, we have found that conventional weapons seem to have no effect on Flemoids. By recalibrating the phase frequency of our zorchers to match that of our transporters, we can send the Flemoids back to their own dimension.
We need a volunteer.
I'm from Chex Squadron, and I volunteer.
I honestly can't believe they put this much effort into a video game based on a cereal, and that any of this exists. There is a Donut Man, and they didn't even make him a Chex cop. Alright, story's out of the way, let's play this thing. But also, I want to make it a little spicy, so we're playing on Nightmare. Oh, sorry, I mean super slimy. Sure, it's Chex Quest, a game made for babies. It's not going to be hard, even if the Flemoids keep respawning endlessly, meaning that my sending them back to their own dimension is only temporary, and that my battle against the slime is an unending war, and that my actions really have no effect in the grand scheme of things. They'll always be back, no matter what I do. Endless war, and the only true option is surrender to the slime. When I say that Chex Quest is like Doom, I mean it is practically identical in terms of gameplay. This is what we like to call a total conversion. They replace the graphics and sound, but everything under the hood is basically the same. So much so that I can run this in any Doom source port. Observe, zorchin your first Flemoids. Oh god, what even is this? There's no violence at all. You're teleporting them back to their home dimension. Katie, turn all the blood red. Now, Katie, more red. Some people hunger for checks, but I lust for blood. So if you were to compare this to Doom mods from the mid-90s, yeah, this is pretty good. The devs reportedly had some experience making custom Doom levels, but custom Doom levels in 1996 were kinda trash. Not everybody was American McGee, you know? And to be entirely fair to Chex Quest, it looks great. The textures and sprite work are cartoony but nicely drawn. The level design for the time is clean, concise, readable, and not too complicated. Secrets are marked or hinted at similarly to Doom, although they're a little more generous in Chex Quest, since I've got a chain gun, a rapid Zorcher, in the second minute of playing. The enemies, at the moment, sound like they're all doing Zoidberg impressions as I violently send them back to their dimensions so they don't eat all our cave apples or whatever. I think their plan is to cover all our food in green slime and... Hey, wait a fucking minute! So I'm zorchin a theoretically infinite number of Flemoids, and I notice this first level is, you know, kinda more complicated than Doom's first level. I have to find 2 keys to get out of it, and at the end I'm faced with the game's replacement for the pink demon, the Flemoidus Cycloptus. Again, it's a cool replacement, but it is the pink demon with different graphics. If I had a shotgun or the game's equivalent of a shotgun, or if... Oh, that's right, I forgot, we can make Chex Quest brutal! Brutal Chex Quest! This is what you all wanted, right? Gobs of goo! Nightmare Chex! In a nice little intermission screen, we see Chex Man using a spoon to get Flemoid goo off of his feet, which is, you know, kinda like scraping the viscera of your enemies off your combat boots. It's still Doom! It's still Doom! Off to the storage facility, a more complex level than I remember it being as a kid, but that was nearly 30 years ago. I'm not what you would call a casual Chex Quest enjoyer who just boots it up all the time for the riveting gameplay, because I have Doom. Right up here near the yellow key, I find the plasma rifle. I mean the phasing Zorcher. And I haven't even found the shotgun yet. I'm doing something wrong here because I find another one in the refrigerated storage area. And because we're operating on Doom Nightmare rules, I'm getting twice as much ammo per pickup because the enemies respawn indefinitely. And oh boy, am I feeling it. Like, this isn't hard, but it's pretty hectic. The main containment area gets reinfested with Flemoids every time I go through it. At some point I got the rocket launcher, called the Zorch Propulsor here, but every Chex Quest fan watching this knows what I've been stumbling around this level looking for. That's right, Chex Developer Room, with the game's BFG, the LAS device, which is the BFG. Next up, Laboratory, where we find our most valued piece of technology, the Super Boot Spork. The constant crowd control with the plasma gun is probably the most fun I've ever had with this game. Unlike the last level, this one doesn't require me to backtrack because I'm looking for the game's biggest secret. I'm plowing through, I'm zorching these motherfuckers. Oh hey, finally, the shotgun. What I think is the most important part of this level is the exit fake out with a monster closet behind it. Because how else will the kids learn about John Romero-esque traps if you don't let them play violent games? I mean, virtually no code has been changed. This is still the game programmed by Romero and AI controller and seeker of the final abstraction John Carmack. That is somehow the most sinister title I've ever written for him. The next level, no joke, taught child Civvie what an arboretum is. And that's kinda nice, I learned something from a video game besides what people look like turned inside out by a rocket. All these damn Flemoids after our precious fruit. Nobody steals our Chiquitas and lives. Oh, fuck! Alright, Katie, don't put that one in, that one feels bad. I'm not anywhere close to dying yet, but this is still kinda spicy. A lot of Flemoids to zorch, and a lot of them getting zorched right back. The gooey climax of episode 1... Oh god, no, I'm sorry for that too. The Caverns of Bazoik, where I remember I need to get footage of myself using the Super Boot Spork. There we go. This level confused me for a couple reasons. 1, because it's a mess of caves and slime. 2, because I picked up 2 yellow keys somehow. And 3, because I find a secret that takes me directly to the boss, a wall of goo. I had to pause to show it to you or else you'd miss it. And now we reach the colonists who are cocooned in some green shit, but they're fine, it's cool.
Kill me.
After sending the monstrous Flembrain back to his own dimension, you free the captives. Yet Flemoids are everywhere. During the return, you are congratulated for a daring rescue, but you issue a warning. We haven't seen the last of the Flemoids. Unfortunately, you are correct, for as you return home, you find that the Flemoids have somehow followed you here. Prepare for Chex Quest 2, Terror in Chex City. Well, yeah, I'll play that too. Why not? It only took me half an hour to beat the first episode, so let's go. Chex Quest 2 Chex-Men United already looks like an upgrade. Look at that sky. Look at them trying to do a realistic diner and shit. Look at the vents you can still phase through because it's like Tech War because the tech just didn't exist in the Doom engine. This time we get the shotgun immediately, and despite the number 2 in the title, there's no super shotgun or super large Zorcher in this. We'll make do. There does seem to be a certain evolution in terms of detail in the levels. They're more ambitious. There's new enemies that are, well, they're still Doom enemies, but they're new to Chex Quest. From the spaceport, we make our way to a completely infested movie theater, which is cute. It's got sub-Duke 3D attempts at realistic details, and little parody movie posters. My favorite is just the Jaws one called Shark. And then there's, I think, a Chex man named Minnesota Joe, famous for saying, "Aw geez, you know I don't much like them Nazi fellers." Outside on the marquee, it says they're playing Spaceship Potemkin, which signals to me that the society that these Chex people have built is, in fact, serial communism. I can't believe Ralston would do this. And I know what you're gonna say. That's serial Marxist-Leninism, not serial communism. Serial communism has never really been tried. And to that I say, do you know what the Bolsheviks did to Count Chocula's family? No. No, they do not have a Chex baby in a carriage falling down the stairs. Stop it, Chex Quest. After clearing out the cinema, we get to the museum, which allows me to further speculate on this communist serial utopia. Instead, I'm filled with other questions, like what were Chex dinosaurs made of, and what did Chex Van Gogh cut off? I had read that Chex Quest 2 was a little bit rushed out to help capitalize on the Chex Quest craze, and yeah, that kind of shows in this level in particular. It's a little empty in places, and you can contrast that with the more detailed other bits of the level, like this dark storage maze with honest-to-God lighting gradients, which, like, man, in 1997, in Doom? It's not as common as you'd think. So then you get teleported out into a hedge maze, which seems pretty on brand. You know, the sort of thing you'd totally see on the back of a cereal box. Too bad this is the Doom engine, and this is a big open area. I can check the map, and yeah, it's all there. Episode 2's penultimate level takes us into the streets of Chextropolis, fighting waves of Flemoids that seem to be coming out of the sewer grates. And when I finish the level, I find out that, yep, that's where they're all coming from. The sewer system. This is a children's game and you fill it with shit. You know what? The layout is confusing and the respawning enemies do start to mess with me a little. At one point, I'm brought down to 117 health, but then I pick up a supercharge. Breakfast. This looks like it's based off all those commercials they used to air where it was like part of a complete breakfast, and they would show like cereal and a whole pitcher of milk and orange juice and toast and a muffin and a whole bowl of fruit and then some fucking cum golems that steal your crunch berries. Listen, for Chex Quest, this final battle is brutal. I have to defeat the Maximus Flemoids, which I think are replacements for the Baron of Hell, so they're not quite as tough as their size would suggest. Still, I think I'm okay. You zorched the remaining Flemoids who had gathered in the sewers. Chex City has been saved. It seems that the Flemoid threat has finally ended. 10 years pass in peace and prosperity. Wait, what? But the Flemoids were not defeated and their desire to control the nutritionally rich cereal dimension has not diminished. They have gathered all their forces, opened a gigantic interdimensional rift in space, and now a great ball of slime is headed straight for the cereal's planet. Get ready for Chex Quest 3 Invasion. No, I don't think I will get ready. I'm just gonna jump right into it, thank you very much. So the thing about Chex Quest 3 is that it didn't actually come out in the 90s. This was a labor of love primarily from Charles Jacoby, who was the lead artist on Chex Quest 1 and 2. Chex Quest 3 was released 11 years after Chex Quest 2 in 2008, and it shows. I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean that Chex Quest 3 blows the other games out of the water in terms of design. You think everything's gonna be the same, and then bam, you open the door to this massive room filled with more detail and more enemies than you've ever seen before from Chex Quest. Oh god, I'm out of ammo. I've never been out of ammo. By the time I'm done spooning these Flemoids, there's gotta be a better way to say that. By the time I'm done and I open this door to get more ammo, the whole area is full of the slimy bastards again. When I have to run around the upper area of this room, they're back again. I run into a room with flashing red lighting because Chex Quest, now unbound by the limitations of corporate development timetables and the vanilla Doom engine, has evolved. As I exit Central Command, my ammo supply not looking great, my health a lot lower than it's been in a long, long time, Chex Quest is making me feel nervous. The next battle outside of the United Cereals building, frantic, tough, as I see those slime meteors raining down from the sky onto the planet, I am terrified. They just give me a rocket launcher because in the next room, it isn't long until I'm forced to bring out the plasma. I have no other choice. This has become a real game, like an actual challenge. Probably only on Nightmare, but still. As I shoot this Flemoidus Cycloptus Ultricus, better known as the Super Cycloptus, a regular Cycloptus respawns. And then another. That clock is ticking. They'll be back. And so, on my second visit to the General Chambers of the United Cereals, I take my first death in Chex Quest. And then my second. I mean, with all the props in this room blocking my shots, it is a little bit of a pain, but also I'm not really a Nightmare player, so I have to adjust my style to fit, which means I have to haul ass. Through this adorable train section that leads out of the United Cereals building and into Villa Chex. Whatever rush state Chex Quest 2 dropped in, there isn't even a hint of it here. Each level is distinct, detailed, and deadly. I'm maining the plasma gun now because I have to. Be quick or be dead. We're faced with the Flemoidius Stridicus, fucking Flemoid Striders, who are fast, and you'd think they'd just be sprite-swapped pink demons, but no, they've got 75 more hit points, and they'll be up your ass for the rest of the episode. They've learned their lesson about mazes in this vineyard, although I didn't have time to look at the map because I was too busy zorchin, because there were 2 Super Cyclopti, and they'll be back. I take the time to grab a secret BFG and start running. But it's not enough. Oh god, a wine cellar with a mini-boss? Provincial Park? More like Strider Park. Look at all of them. I will stop to compliment the level theming, texture work, and general good design of all of this. It's really a cut above the original Chex Quest. With all of these monsters in what is essentially a giant open level, respawning after I kill them, it makes this a lot harder. But it gets worse. Chex Quest didn't have an enemy to take the place of Lost Souls. Until now. And the game places them in what I can say is a really cool way. They're around this slime meteor that's our last stop for the game. They're called Flemoids. They are also my least favorite enemy in Chex Quest, and the game makes sure to absolutely swarm you with them if you want to get into the last level. Why did I turn strict Doom compatibility on? That means I can't even run under them. This was made for Z-Doom, I shouldn't have done that. So in yet another change of scenery, we have the spaceship Meteor. Yet another level that's uniquely themed and designed. Look at this, a blue phlegm key? Only this level has phlegm keys, like Doom has skull keys. Don't let it be said that Chex Quest didn't go out with a bang. Everything that was good about Chex Quest has been amplified in this one, and it's actually pretty damn good. It shouldn't be. It's a licensed game from a goddamn cereal company. Or I guess it was, and I guess it still is because later they did do Chex Quest HD. It's at this point that the game gets real stingy with health. I need a complete supercharged breakfast, damn it! And in the bowels of this slimy meteor, I zorch Lord Snorfelus back to hell. Or wherever. He's basically a cyber demon, and that doesn't scare me much. Against all odds, you have single-handedly foiled the invasion. Yeah, I guess. But there's still a lot of slime meteors crashing into the planet, and that's probably not good. They look pretty big. That's planetary cataclysm you've got there, a real extinction-level event. I hope the vineyard survived.